You want to be a successful artist? Stop selling to other artists. Greetings everyone, welcome to the Underground Lair where we bring our creations to life. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. I'm a professional illustrator, designer, and mad creator. And one of the goals with this channel is just to give advice to artists. Some of the things I learned along the way, because I've made a lot of mistakes and it's taken me a while to get to the point where I guess I would consider myself successful. I've struggled in the past. I've done this for a while, but now I'm sort of at this point where I feel confident that I can actually give advice and everything. And like I said, it's been a journey and I've made a lot of those mistakes and I don't want you guys to make those. So hopefully the goal is that you can kind of circumnavigate and like move around like, oh, this, I'm watching this video, this guy made these mistakes. I don't want to make those, so I'm not going to do kind of what he did. And it's easier said than done, I guess, because a lot of it is just stuff that's in your mind. And that's what I want to talk about today is this idea that we are basically, as artists, a lot of times we're trying to market to ourselves. Oh, this is the kind of thing I'm into, so that's what, so I'm gonna look at, other artists, and a lot of times that's who we promote to when we're on social media and everything. Think about this, when you're talking about your art, who is the biggest audience? Who are you pitching that to? Is it other artists? I'm pretty sure it probably is, and that's where we kind of go wrong. And this goes hand in hand with just about anything. Pricing is a big thing. We, as artists, we really undervalue what we should be charging because we think to ourselves, well, if I charge too much, I don't know, I wouldn't pay that much for this. Well, of course you wouldn't, because you can do this. It's kind of, a lot of this stuff is easy for you. So you get that in your head because it's easier for you that there's not that much value, but you got to realize most people can't do what you can do as an artist. So there's more value to that. But if we look at it from our perspective and we're like, well, yeah, I mean, that seems like a lot of money to charge. And then we get, because again, we wouldn't pay that, but we need to reach out to people beyond just the artist, for one, and realize that those people, yeah, they're going to be willing to pay a little more than maybe what you think or what you expect, because this is something, the work we're creating, if we're creating it specifically for them, it's something they're passionate about, and they're not concerned really about parting with their hard-earned money because it's something they love. Everyone has something that they love and that they're willing to pay a little extra for because just they have a passion for it and they love it so much. So we need to stop thinking like artists and start thinking like marketers. And when I say that, I don't mean, I'm not trying to take all the fun out of everything, because it took me a while to kind of embrace this idea of, yes, in order to be successful, you have to learn the business aspects of it. You have to learn the marketing and everything like that. But that doesn't mean you still get to think like an artist. You get to be creative and everything, and you get to create the things you want to create. But you have to go a little deeper. What I want you to do is start thinking about the things that you're into, your hobbies, other than just art in general, and all the other people that are interested in that. And the idea isn't just to create something just because it will sell if it's something that you're not interested in. You got to find that sweet spot of things that you're interested and things that there are a market for. So, for instance, and realize you are not your target market. So for instance, I love physical books. I love physical comics and books and things like that. I don't purchase like a lot of digital stuff, digital books. I don't think there's very few times, unless that was the only way it was available, that I would purchase like a digital book. However, I love to sell digital products because I don't have to worry about shipping. And pretty much after that digital product is created, there's a lot of time usually that goes involved in these, but after it's created, like I said, there's no shipping. There's also no other physical, when you don't have to reorder. You don't have to, put more money down for all the production costs and everything like that. So digital products are a big part of my business, even though I'm not a big fan of digital products. But if I was thinking to myself, well, I don't like digital products, so I'm not going to put digital products out there, that would be a really bad decision for me, because there are people, and we're living and I'm a little older, so realizing that the younger crowd out there, that's what they want. They want the digital stuff. Maybe they don't want all this. Maybe they don't have room to keep a bunch of books and things, so they're happy with digital stuff. And that's what you have to get out of your own space and like, oh, I prefer, physical. So I'm not, that's what everyone else would. You can't think that because of the things that you like are what everyone else likes. For instance, jewelry, to me, jewelry is very expensive, all right? To me, it doesn't mean anything. To me, a diamond is just a rock. To me personally, it doesn't have any value. But of course it has value. I mean, people spend millions of dollars for diamonds and things like that, and it means a lot to other people, even though it doesn't mean anything to me. Sports is another one. I'm not a sports fan, so if I have to, like, sometimes my daughter, who is in dance, will perform at a sports event or something like that. And other than the fact that I want to go see my daughter, I don't really care about the event. So when I have to pay, $50 to go see a sporting event, it's like, I'm like, oh man, that's kind of expensive. I don't want to spend that. But obviously sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and people go crazy over sports. So just because I'm not into it doesn't mean it does, and that's one of the things that I probably wouldn't really go into, because I don't care about enough of it to create artwork for. But if you do like sports, there you go. Tap into that sports market, and and there's a lot of people that are willing to pay a lot of money for sports memorabilia or sports related art. And again, I want you to go back and think, like I said, who are you marketing to on social media? I mean, when you post something on social media, who's responding? Is it other artists? Chances are it is. You need to break out and start, like, if you are doing sports related content, then you want to reach out to sports fans, not just other artists. And it's really important to niche down. Are a niche that you like doing, and find out who is super passionate in that niche. So for instance, what are two big things that people love and they are willing to spend money on? Okay, first of all, one is their kids, the other is their pets. So, I mean, I've got a whole line I've got these coloring books that I did. This one is When I Grow Up, I Can Be Anything, an inspirational guide for girls, and another one for boys. So kids, homeschoolers, I mean, these are the type of things you have to, the markets that you're looking for, especially like in the pandemic when everyone was homeschooling and everything. They wanted material like this. So, you've got, and this is for obviously younger age groups, and there's so many different ways to niche down. Different age groups is a different way to niche down, but parents want something great for their kids, and they're willing to spend a little extra on it because, it's their kids. Same thing with pets. So another niche that I dove into with coloring books are pets, specifically dogs. I'm a big dog lover. So I've got, and you can niche down further. It's not just dogs generic. I mean, that's niching down one, but you can keep going deeper and deeper. So this one is pugs in particular. This one's corgis, and I've got a whole bunch of other breeds that I niche down to, and even beyond that, this one is hipster pugs. So these are all a series of hipster. So people that are into kind of that hipster life and have pets, that's the more you can niche down. It's a smaller group of people, but they're way more passionate about it. And that if you've seen like events and things for, it could be anything. I mean, there's so many different markets that people don't even think about because they seem so small, but the smaller they are, like I said, the more passionate they get about it. So, I've got the hipster dog books, I've got Christmas dog books, and obviously they don't sell all year round, but they're selling really good right now. So that's what you have to think about. It's not just, general art. I'll do a cool version of this character or whatever. That's cool, but that is so, first of all, that's so broad, and everyone else is creating that. So you want to kind of tap into these markets where other people aren't really, there's not enough out there. If there's scarcity in that market, then people are going to be looking for that stuff. And there are whole communities and, like trade shows and things like that, and get-togethers and organizations for just about anything you can think of. Going back to, the corgi thing. Like I would, if I meet somebody who has a corgi, chances are maybe they're on a Facebook group or something with other people that have corgis, and they're gonna like, oh, I just got this great book. They share it on there, and then you get a bunch more sales, because when somebody's passionate about something, they're gonna start telling other people about it. You don't want to be, again, this whole idea of we're just we're just presenting our stuff to other artists. That's not the position we want to be in. If we're a comic book creator and we happen to have a comic book about like cats or dogs or whatever, and we bring that to a comic convention, there's so many other, you're a comic book creator in a sea of other comic book creators, and there are going to be people that are interested that walk by and see a book, say if you're into dragons or something. But there's probably other artists there that have dragon artwork or whatever it is. But if you go to, say, a dragon specific convention or whatever the niche is, if it's specific to that, if you go to one of those and you're the only artist there, if other people, or like for instance, science, I do a lot of stuff with the mad science thing. I could try to sell that at a comic convention, but if I go to a science, trade show or something like that, and everyone else is selling either like, beakers and flasks and all this, or science equipment or whatever, and I come in there, I'm the only artist there, I'm going to clean up. So you don't want to be like an artist in a sea of artists. You want to be an artist. You don't want to be one artist in a sea of artists. You want to be the one artist where you're the only one there, basically, in this particular niche. So we really have to get outside of our ecosystem and find out, what it is we like to create that other people are into, that's not just specific to art, and really dive down into those. And it doesn't have to be one thing. It can be a number of different things. You don't even really hear me talk about this stuff that much here on the channel because I don't need to. I'm not trying to pitch this to you guys as artists. I'm pitching this to people that are into specific dog breeds and things like that. So that's not something I talk about, but in the background, I've got these books out there and they're selling, and then they bring in royalties and things like that. We typically just kind of focus on our own little audience, but we want to take advantage of other people's audience. Again, there's Facebook groups of people that are super into anything you could think of, any niche down, anything you think of. There's people that are involved in big groups and stuff, and like I said, they're going to share that stuff around. So if you can tap into that, they'll do the legwork for you. They'll spread the word. If it's something they love and you create a good product, they're going to spread that word for you. You can have them, basically you could have them do all the work. It's funny because there was I kind of equate this to, every once in a while I will get an email from like an online, like sort of like a newspaper, these local magazines where, in the past, a critic would come out or somebody would come out and they do like a spotlight on a particular business. And they produce it and all that, and they write it and do all that stuff, and they promote that business like on a news show or in a newspaper. But I've been approached by these sort of news aggregator sites or whatever, and it's like a local thing, like, oh, we'll feature your business, just fill out this survey. And, it's basically a questionnaire and you fill it out. It's almost like an interview, but no one's actually conducting the interview. They just have pre-made questions. You go through, you write all your answers, you do all this stuff and you submit it and then they post it. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a great business model because they basically write the questions, send it out to everyone, and they don't have to really conduct an interview. You're doing all the work. You're basically writing your own story, and they're just publishing it. And then you do get some benefits because they're publishing it on their site and everything. But you as the business owner are doing all the work. So I've done a few of those, and then after a while, I'm like, I'm kind of doing all the work, and also I didn't see a big return on my investment for the time that I put into it, but. It's interesting if you can have somebody else kind of do the work for you. It might not be a bad something. It's something to think about. So basically, in closing, I just want you to think of this idea. Find something that you are into, that other people are into. how much you can niche down to a particular thing and create a product for that and reach out to the people. There may be people that you know in life that are super big into whatever. If it's I mentioned sports before, but a particular sport, if there's something so specific, rowing or something, whatever like that, where chances are, if you are running's a big one. I have a lot of friends that run. I mean, I jog and I run, but I'm not like a runner. I don't have the magazines, and I don't get super focused on the shoes. And again, people are spending crazy money on shoes and things like that, where I just want a decent pair that I can run in. I don't really care about all that stuff, but other people out there are. And if I just thought like I think, I'm like, well, I don't really care that much about that. So chances are other people don't, which is not the truth. So whatever if you know people that are in a certain niche, maybe kind of partner up with them and say, I'm going to create this product. A lot of people in this area, would you help me promote it? And they'd probably be more than happy to do that, just because they're probably looking for something else like that. So basically just, stop trying to focus so much on other artists. I mean, as artists, that's typically the first place we go to, because we like to hang out with people that are like us. So that's who we're communicating with. And I'm not saying don't talk to artists, because I've got a lot of artist friends and I love talking shop with them and everything, but I'm not necessarily trying to market my goods to them. So stop trying to think that you are your own target market. It's not the best advice, because there's a lot of markets out there that are into cool stuff that you can create, that you would be happy to create, that you're not just creating it because there is a market, but something that the key is find something you're passionate about, that other people are passionate about, create that and put that in front of them. So I hope this helps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.